Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Mindset You. Jason Moreno here with my baby King Mo. So you did it right this time again. Today's episode, it's a special one. I'm calling it Secret Time. I haven't been funny lately. I've been all in my emotions. I've been being all vulnerable, and I'm still gonna be vulnerable, but it's gonna be more at my expense. Um, I watched Billy Madison the other day. Have you seen Billy Madison? You've seen Billy Madison, where Adam Sandler goes back to school. And there's one scene where his buddy, I forget what grade they're in, that he pees his pants. And I don't think I've ever told anybody this story about when I peed my pants at Powell Park High School in 7th grade.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. You see,
I don't
I kept
remember
that
that.
with me. Good, because I've told
I remember
nobody.
you shitting yourself.
I shit myself a bunch of times. We'll get into that too. But this one made me laugh because it reminded me, and I was like, "Oh man, I suppressed that so far down that I forgot about it for a second." It was 7th grade, right after school. You know how they used to lock the bathroom doors?
Mm-hmm.
It was one of those situations where I got out of class. The teacher didn't let me go to the bathroom during class, so I ran to every single bathroom. Every fucking door was locked, and thank God I had dark Old Navy jeans on because I pissed myself.
You just decided to pee yourself.
It wasn't like I decided to pee myself. I didn't go, okay, you know what? Let me just pee myself right now in fucking school so that everybody can see me.
Mm-hmm.
It was just it was one of those like emergency pees.
Oh, like you're on the brink.
I was on the brink in class, and the teacher didn't let me go. I forgot which teacher it was.
Fucked up, man.
It was one of those situations. Like the teacher didn't let me go to the bathroom. I had to pee really bad. So by the time school let out, now I'm rushing. And like when you gotta pee that bad, it's like every step you take, you're like, oh, a little drip's coming out, and then finally, thank God for dark Old Navy jeans, I pissed myself and nobody noticed, and I booked it out of there.
Mm-hmm.
And thank God for an old friend's mom who used to drive me home, because I literally jumped in that car. I was like, "Lady, you gotta take me home quick." And she's like, "What happened?" I was like, "I peed myself," and it was the most embarrassing feeling in the world. And I think I cried when I got home.
Aww.
And I was like, "Oh man." It was one of those like it wasn't like a, "Oh man, I peed myself," because like it is what it is. And I was like, I hope nobody noticed. It was who wants to be the kid in 7th grade who peed himself? Nobody. Which brings me to my next thing. Have you ever done something embarrassing in front of your significant other? Like one of those kind of situations where you're like, "Oh man, thank God you love me," because like there's no other explanation for this. Has that ever happened?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I've ever had an experience like that. Where...
Well, I mean, it's like most of mine are just bodily functions. It's either I pee or poop myself. But I don't think that's normal for everybody else.
I mean, I would say that when I was before my whole spiritual kind of vulnerability journey, I would say there was a lot more things that I held deep down inside. So, I mean, until now, I didn't know this story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've felt a lot of things that I was like ashamed of and away from people that I cared about all the time.
It's like, do you ever like think back on it? Like that was such a silly thing to be like so ashamed of.
I mean, I don't think about it that way because like I can understand why
you
didn't share that. Yeah, you didn't.
Yeah.
I can understand why you didn't share that, especially at that age. I was like, that's a rough age, man. You don't want to share shit like that.
No, like 12,
man,
13.
we were brutal.
Like
we were brutal to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was a sensitive person, so I never shared shit that I felt like any of you guys could attack on. Maybe with Richmond. Richmond was always a person that would... It's like a judgment-free zone with Richmond.
That's because he knew like 4 words. There's a difference.
But like, I feel like I could share everything with Richmond because at that time, like with you used to clown a lot, bro.
Yeah,
you were a clown,
talked a lot of shit.
Yeah,
I had little man syndrome. That was my only defense. It was my mouth.
Which is why I think you didn't share that story, because it would be a nice little kind of
it would have been perfect. It would have been perfect. Anytime I would have said anything like "shut up, you peed yourself," and I'm like, "Oh fuck, you're right." Like, it would have ruined. It would have ruined any of my shit talking credibility. it always makes me think back to a lot of things growing up that I probably hid from everybody, including myself, and like, pushed deep down. But that story made me laugh. Another one of my favorite embarrassing moments of myself is when I was in college and I pooped myself in front of an ex-girlfriend. You know the story,
Yes,
right?
I know that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think that was my favorite one because it was so embarrassing, but she laughed about it and she was such a good sport about it
Hmm.
that it made me go, whew, okay. Like it's, you know, and I think the my favorite thing about that though is that after it happened, we were supposed to go to a Halloween party that night. And I was like, listen, please do not tell anybody about this when we go to the
That was in
party.
Albany, no?
Yeah, that was in Albany.
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, was I with you guys? Was that when we were like playing around or doing some shit in the basement of
Did I poop
your?
myself more than once in front of people? I don't think you were there for this one because I distinctly remember it being me and the
No, I
ex.
remember you shitting yourself in front of me too.
Oh, I've shit myself in front of a few people. Then Jesus, this is a vulnerable episode. Audience members, I'm gonna need diapers soon. At the track rate that I'm going, I'm gonna have early onset diapers. But my favorite thing about that one time out of the many times apparently that I pooped myself in front of somebody was that I was like, "Hey, listen, you got to promise me that you're not going to tell anybody when we go to this party." She, I got you. I would never embarrass you like that. And the minute we get in, she literally kicks the door open and goes, "Everybody, Jay shit his pants today." It was the funniest thing ever. And it stopped the party and everybody started laughing. And it just made me, at first, I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you did that." But the fact that everybody started laughing was like, "Oh, thank God, it's funny." Like, I don't care if it's at my expense. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Um, and that one sticks with me to this day. That is still one of my favorite poop myself stories. I'm sorry for anybody who thought that they're gonna get an insightful episode today. It's not. You're just getting
Well,
an insight.
I think this is an insightful info. I'll make the connection into mindset because
Thank you.
uh, it, do you ever notice when you talk to older people, they just don't give a shit about anything. Like talk to somebody who's like 70 or 80. It's all about hindsight and how I think we care about judgment, and this is the idea of judgment and how powerful it is when we are developing as human beings and we're going through our lives. It's so powerful how it creates biases and a perception of who you are as an individual and the fear that it creates amongst the people that you care about. But as you get older, you start to understand that most people don't give a shit about those things. The things that you believe people would judge you for, they're not even judging you about it.
Yeah,
And if they do, who really gives a fuck?
that's a
Now, it's
good
easier
point.
said than done,
Yeah,
but I think it's about that awareness, and I think also what I've understood from you going through those experiences allowed you to feel safe with just like being a human being and a human
yeah.
being that shits themselves.
Yeah, and I think about it now, like when it comes to like my relationships, like Ash and I, like I poop with the door open. Like we have an open door policy in this house where I think my if I can't trust somebody in a relationship if they're not willing to fart in front of me.
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
like you ever date somebody or like, I don't know, maybe you guys are like that where it's like
Nah, I pass gas.
yeah, but like Ash passes gas, we all pass gas. I think it's because I grew up like you've been around my family.
Yeah.
We're a gassy family.
Yeah.
We're very open about our flatulence, and it's generations of it. It's not just my mom, my dad. It's my
Mm,
grandma. Like it's
yeah.
everybody in this family.
That's
We
pretty.
find farting funny.
Yeah, that's interesting because I remember when I was a teacher, I had a coworker, and he was talking about him and his wife, and him and his wife had divorced a while back. I remember we had a conversation. I was like, "You guys fart in front of each other?" He was like, "No, no, we don't fart in front of each other." I was like, "So what do you have to do if you have to pass gas?" We go to the bathroom. And I'm like, "Wait, so you like sit on the couch, and if you have to fart, you get up off the couch, you stop the movie or whatever, and you go to the bathroom to fart."
I could see why they got divorced.
And that's exactly what I thought. I was like, "You guys weren't even vulnerable enough to be human in front of each other."
Like, that's
That's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah.
That's
That's crazy.
literally the first, like, month in a relationship, I'm letting it rip. If you don't find it funny, and if you're, like, extremely, like, grossed out by it, I'm like, "Oh, we're not gonna work. This
Well,
isn't gonna."
here's some relationship advice. If you guys are having trouble in your relationship and you don't fart in front of each other, you need to reconsider that.
Start doing it.
Yeah, because that
Let
like
them rip.
that's how you know they'll accept you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, honestly, that's a good point. If you're listening to this, Dutch oven your partner tonight. Fart and throw that blanket right over their heads. And if they don't panic and start laughing, they're not the ones for you. I'm
Yeah.
telling you right now,
I,
they're
I,
not for you. They don't truly, they might love you. They probably just love the idea of you, but they don't
yeah.
love you.
This picture perfect person of who you are. Like,
Who wants that? That's
yeah.
so hard to keep up. That's so frustrating.
No,
Um,
I totally agree with that. And it's funny because you said like somebody that you're pretending to be or whatever, and that's really what happens in relationships. It's that most of the times when they end, it's because you created this persona or this avatar of who you thought this person wanted you to be.
yeah,
And then you get tired of trying to be that person that you think your partner wants to be. And that person gets tired of you being that perception of who you are. And it's because you've never really been you.
it's
And if you're
true.
not farting in front of each other, then that means you're not being you because we all know that you fart.
Everybody farts. Everybody poops.
Everybody,
Everybody farts. It happens.
yeah.
To be
So,
honest with you, I got a fart right now, but the only reason why I'm not gonna let one rip is because I'm truly scared that I might shit myself because I'm talking about it so much, and that's just the way life works. Is
yeah.
that if I do, it's one of those that like it doesn't really need to come out, but if I push a little bit, I might push a little too far. We're gonna have to end this pod earlier than I expected.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying this podcast, please subscribe, like below, comment, let us know your thoughts, and continue to enjoy.
You're right. To go to the coaching and to the foofiness of this, um, it's all about being vulnerable. I know I'm making fun. I'm being real lighthearted this episode, but I really do think that people need to be themselves and be their authentic selves with their partners and their friends and whoever they love. Of course, there's always a time and place for things, you know. Um, but I always think about those people who are like, oh no, like, or the ladies don't fart, or no, I don't fart in front of my significant other. Like she doesn't even know that I take a shit. Like that's wild to me. How do you
Mm.
live? How do you like? That's such a weird way to live your life. And I get it that some people are like, oh well, I want to keep it sexy. Well, you know what? Keep
Authenticity
it
is
sexy.
sexy.
And I'm not talking about like some weird niche sexual thing. Um, I think I find it so endearing that I have a relationship with my partner where we're open like that. And honestly, I could hear her fart. I'll be upstairs and she's in the living room, and I hear a little poop. I giggle. It's one of those things that it's we always make it a habit that if the other one farts, you'll hear the other one giggle from across the room or from downstairs or from wherever they are because it's just a way to know that hey, I got you, I love you, it's okay. And it's such a silly, simple thing, but I honestly think it goes far. Um,
I mean, I think you're on point. I think I just think authenticity is something that sometimes is undervalued, you
yeah,
know. And I think people have the wrong misconception of what like authenticity is, and it's like I think about it as like a baby, right? So like a baby is the most like authentic version of a human being that you'll ever get. You will never find anything more authentic than that. You know, it's like a dog. Like a dog is super authentic. Like they're not putting on a show for you. They fucking
Nope.
bark at you when they're mad at you or they want some shit, and they, you know, they love you when they see you around. Same thing with the
Yeah.
baby. They'll fart in front of you, they'll shit themselves in front of you, and they don't give a fuck.
Nope. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, that to me is authenticity, and that takes true vulnerability. So that's not an easy thing. So
No.
I think farting in front of somebody is takes courage.
I like that we were able to make this. I like that we were able to make this.
It does though.
All right, so,
Like think about the first time that you're farting someone. It's like I wonder if this person is going to accept me.
right?
It's like is she going to get disgusted? You know?
Yeah, first, like, and that's another thing. Like, do you fart on the first date? No, you can't fart on the first. I mean, no, unless it's some like. I'm trying to think of like when it's acceptable to fart on a first date, and I don't think there is a time. No, unless it just. But here's the thing: sometimes things happen. Like you ever like I think about it this way: whenever you're on a plane, right, and you have your headphones on and you fart, you don't really know if it's loud or quiet. You kind of assume it's quiet, but you don't really know.
Yeah, you don't know. You kind of look around and you
look around. If nobody acknowledges it, I think that's also like the first date. Like when you try to let that little quiet one go on the first date, you just start looking around. Like, does she notice? Does she notice? Or you're like, or if you laugh too hard and you let out a fart while you're laughing, like there's a lot that goes in. There's a science to it. But before your microphone just gives up completely,
it just keeps giving up. Like I don't know why it's doing that today. I'm so upset and annoyed.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this gem up of an episode right now.
Like
guys, thank you so much for listening to our TED Talk on how to make your relationship stronger by flatulating. Don't forget to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Music. I'm trying to think, and wherever else you can listen to a podcast. Don't forget to go to VidaProject.com. We love you guys. Let us know about if you fart in front of your significant other, or if you plan on doing it. And please let me know if you actually follow through with the Dutch oven, because that would make my heart happy. I'm gonna do it tonight. I'm pretty sure my wife can hear me from the other room, so she's gonna be expecting it. I'll let you guys know how it goes. And if she divorces me, then I backtrack everything I said this episode. It means, guys, don't do it.
And don't fart.
So, guys, once again, thank you. Anybody who was looking for a serious podcast, I'm sorry.
I think it met the standard of mindset.
I personally think it's great. I can't wait for Rancis to listen to this one. Not gonna tell him anything about it. I think this might be the shortest description of an episode. It's just gonna be J Mo share secret time. That's all I'm leaving for it.
That's great. Love it.
And you guys are in for a treat. Love you guys. Thank you so much. We'll back at it next week. Peace.